And now where we are is every week, every customer who gives us below a 9 gets some form of contact. A
Interesting.
phone call from our customer experience
Wow.
team, an email, and it's a lot. It's a ton. But every possible person that we can affect, we connect with and make sure it's a better experience than where maybe we left it with them. And then we learn from it.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley in partnership with Leumitech, sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest Labs, Synergy Global, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, Birthright Excel, Serona Partners, and in media partnership with CTech. Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. This is about direct-to-consumer and about strategy and, of course, startups and entrepreneurship. Meet Mike Hollenstein, the CEO at eyebobs, leading the company in direct retail and wholesale growth. He was appointed to the CEO role in December of 2017 after joining the organization in July of 2016 as Vice President of Direct and Operations. Prior to joining eyebobs, Hollenstein was Vice President Merchandising for Sportsman's Guide. As leader of the product management team, he helped Sportsman's Guide deliver over $300 million of annual volume. Previously, Hollenstein led the direct purchase division at G&K Services, and from 2000 to 2008, he helped build the Duluth Trading Co. business as Vice President of Product Development.
Tell me a little bit about eyebob and who are you guys?
Yeah, so eyebobs started just about 21 years ago here in Minneapolis by our founder, Julie Allenson. And it really was born out of a need. She was just north of 40 years old, and she was having a harder and harder time seeing her notes and her books. And she went out to find a cool pair of reading glasses. And ultimately, truly, she was working with a startup, and she was went out to see her favorite optician. And he said, well, you can either spend $10 on a pair of drugstore readers or cheaters, or I can sell you a pair of $500 or $1,000 really beautiful frames with some single vision reader lenses in them. And she was, from that moment on, it was like, oh my goodness, this is the idea I've been looking for. And went to find a vendor, literally traveled there, built a small collection, and there's a men's store here in Minneapolis who said, yep, we'll take them on, but we're not going to pay for them until we sell them. And they sold out in just a real short amount of weeks. And that was the start of the idea. And now today we're in 3 channels. We still sell through wholesale. We sell through the direct channel, which I'd love to get into the challenges associated with that with eyewear with you and talk a little bit about that. And then we also have our own retail stores. So it's really a lot of things have happened in between the founding and today, but it really is a wonderful story of an entrepreneur taking a risk and building a really awesome company.
It sounds really great. And, walk me through where we are today in terms of, the way that you're thinking through, retail, e-commerce, direct to consumer, online marketing. I mean, you have this, if before it was, let's build a great product, put it on shelves and see if people will buy it, right? Today, there's so many more layers of complexity that you have to take into account and be strategic about. You have worked with different organizations and have, worked as an executive on different brands, and I'm sure that also shaped your strategy here. But share with me a little bit about how you're seeing the world today through the lenses of eyebob.
You bet. I think I've been CEO here now for 4 years. It's my first time as a CEO. I've led divisions of companies, but never as a CEO. And I will tell you, I think the most important thing that we've done is really simplify. We've simplified our message. We've simplified the business. And at the end of the day, it's all about us being a direct-to-consumer company. We're not going to apologize for that. Because what does that do? It makes you focus on the customer. And we happen to sell through other channels like wholesale. And 5 or 10 years ago, there was this concept of channel conflict. Well, if you're going to sell through a big department store, how can you sell yourself? How can you sell direct to the consumer? And the reality of it is a rising tide raises all boats if you do it the right way. If you don't discount and you don't hold them accountable to things that you're not holding yourself accountable to. So we start there. At the end of the day, we're a direct-to-consumer company that wants to be where our consumer is at the time they're ready to buy, period. Our strategy is very simple. We focus on 3 objectives: product, people, and brand. Product is our driver. We are a product-based company. We make bold eyewear. We dare people to buy eyewear that's bold and that represents their personality. And there's nothing more exciting and interesting. I didn't understand this before I started here than when somebody puts on a pair of glasses and you see their shoulders go a little further back and they feel good about themselves. So we are a product company, first and foremost. And the product we sell is the frames. The lenses are incredibly, really important, but we're not going to limit ourselves by the lenses we sell. So we've really greatly expanded our lens options from readers only to blue light to prescription to sun, all of those things. So that's the product side. And then the brand side, the brand's evolved a lot. And I learned at Duluth Trading Company when I was there, a great product without stellar branding is a dud. A great branding without a phenomenal product is also a dud of a company. It's that blend of both where you have phenomenal branding and you have this and then wonderful product. The example I always give is our seminal product at Duluth Trading was what was called the long tail t-shirt. It was the cure for plumber's butt, right? And that really is what launched the company out of being a tool company into an apparel company. And honestly, it was just a tall t-shirt. At the end of the day, it was a really wonderfully built, all the things you want in a great t-shirt, but it was just a little longer. If you sold it as a tall t-shirt, it would have been a complete, miss. But when you blend that with long tail, cure for plumber's butt, we had an amazing success. And that's the beauty of brand here. We're working really hard on creating a brand that is as good or better than our product, and we're doing a lot there. So that's the brand side. People is, as we say, people is our objective, our third objective. It's about customer, making sure that we are off the charts when it comes to customer experience. And I will tell you and everybody that will listen to this that being a phenomenal customer experience company is hard, but it is a way to differentiate yourself. Most companies are looking at ways to idle back, cut costs, get you into that endless spiral of hit 1, 2, 3, 4. And our customers will tell you that it's different. It's amazing. It feels good. I know that what you promised you're going to deliver on. So customer experience can really be a driver, but it's only a driver if you measure it. We use NPS like most companies do. And we also, I think the other thing that we do here better than anywhere is we take all of the data points that we get. We get customer reviews, we get our NPS scores weekly, we get our chat scores, we get our store feedback, and we blend it all into this wonderful database weekly of what's the customer sentiment? How are they feeling? And we relentlessly look at it. And if it falls, we ask why, and we look at reasons why. So that's the customer side. We have
so specifically in that, I've always been curious about, the strategies for measuring NPS and for being very intentional with understanding when something goes wrong and how to fix it. So you're coming in and 1 week you're saying, the last week's score was not as great as we would like. There are some things that we want to fix. What do you do at that point as a leader here? How do you go and figure out, the right way to fix your NPS and customer satisfaction overall?
It's all about customer contact. So in the beginning, when we launched NPS a few years ago, probably maybe 3 years ago now, we didn't know what to do, honestly. We just looked at a score and we looked at, are we competitive? Are we not competitive with our peers? Are we competitive with the best-in-class customer experience-oriented companies? And we said, yeah, we are. We're really good, but we're not good enough. So we set 100 basis point improvement every year, 100 basis point, 100 basis point, 100 basis point. And so that's where we started. And now where we are is every week, every customer who gives us below a 9 gets some form of contact.
Interesting.
A phone call from our customer experience team, an email, and it's a lot. It's a ton. But every possible person that we can affect, we connect with and make sure it's a better experience than where maybe we left it with them. And then we learn from it. And we have this thing in our customer experience area in retail that we call Training Tuesdays. So every week we learn from our Monday NPS and our consolidation of all the feedback, and then our head of customer experience works it into the training Tuesdays. Okay, so this individual had an issue with their prescription glasses. We didn't do a great job of measuring the seg height, whatever it is, or the PD. How do we better train people to measure the seg height or the PD? So it's like this interesting ecosystem, interconnected, and makes, I think a lot of companies look at the results, to your point, but don't know how to connect it to improvements within the organization. And it takes time. I will tell you, I just wrote a note to our board. Our NPS score improvements are 4 years in the making.
Wow.
This isn't something you flip a switch and see results. It takes time. So don't put too much pressure as you implement. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to be a world-class company immediately. It does take time.
Fantastic. So walk me through, as how are you thinking strategically? I'm going into your website and now transitioning to the direct to consumer, right? And I'm going into the website, and how do you think through strategically the experience that I want to have? So, how are you approaching me, and what are some different things that you are doing within your platform that are push or nudging me to get to that mindset?
Yeah. So I would tell you the first thing to realize with eyewear is that it's 10 to 15, maybe 20 years behind other clothing categories. The percent of eyewear, specifically prescription, that's sold online is far lower than shoes and shirts and pants and outerwear. It just is lagging, I think, mainly because how's it going to look on me? Am I going to look good, or am I not going to look good? Is it going to fit my head? Am I going to be able to see? There's a lot of things related to a really simple product, right? So we start there. We think, what are the barriers to trial for that new consumer? Michael comes to our website and he jumps on, and he's the first time blue light glasses wearer, and he has no idea where to start. So we really have three things. And again, it gets back to customer focus. We have virtual try-on. So we have a solution so that if you want to see it real time with your iPhone, and you can see many of our glasses on your face. We have a style finder survey. So we ask you some fun questions about your style, your head size, how you're going to use them, and then output a much more limited group of products. We have over 400 style colors, so narrowing it for the customer's key. And then we have a virtual framing session. And a virtual framing session is you go online, you schedule a meeting with one of our very capable customer experience people, and they will walk you through the process. They'll look at your face, Michael. Okay, it looks like you're an average. Now your head shape is this. I think let's try a few of these styles. Then, most importantly, we have a 90-day no-risk return policy. So if for some reason they just don't work, you can return or exchange them. And we also oftentimes, if a customer returns the product, that's a negative experience, right? So it's a negative. I had to go through the effort of returning this. Not a great experience. We'll go back to them and say, tell us what happened. You invested enough time to buy a product from us. How can we help you find the right one? And that, again, that's just, to me, that's closing the loop, which a lot of companies don't do in a one-to-one way. They're not going out and asking that customer, how do we make this right? How do we make it work? So it's an to answer your question more simply, it's a focused understanding of what are the barriers to trial for that consumer, either a prospect or an existing customer. How do we help them feel comfortable taking a risk with a new brand or a brand that they know and love?
Phenomenal. Okay, so we understand some of the complexities of D2C and building a brand that people love, understanding the intentionality of thinking through how to provide the best experience for the customers, whether it be through NPS scores or through the personal touches, but now strategically growing the company. How does a company like eyebobs set its vision, set its expectations towards the future? How do you measure healthy growth? And I'm coming more from the software space, and I'm sure that things are different. But what do you consider as healthy growth or healthy progression in this day and age with eyebob?
what just, it can be a product, it can be a service, it can be software. The challenge for us all is building awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Still to this day, I'm sure, Michael, you didn't know that eyebobs existed before we were connected, and that's our biggest challenge, is creating awareness. We're not a huge company, and creating awareness through big ad, $10 million, $50 million awareness building campaigns is not going to be the solution for us. It just isn't in the cards. We're a self-funded organization. We want to grow organically, so that just isn't the way we're going to grow this business. I think there's a couple things. First, you have to start where we started, which was building the foundation for exceptional customer experience, because the best form maybe not the most scalable form, but the best form of acquisition of customers is word of mouth. Getting that customer to say, where'd you get those glasses? Those are awesome. Oh, eyebobs, the best experience I've ever had buying prescription eyewear. And I got them online. Online, I can get prescription eyewear online. Oh my gosh. That's number one. So creating an amazing experience with great products and great customer experience, getting that in place. Secondly, I would say, we're growing through digital, but I will tell you, there's an interesting thing happening right now with a kind of a going back to print. We do catalogs, we do postcards, and we think that there's an opportunity to introduce ourselves and our great brand through print as well. And I'm still very bullish on retail. Creating there's no better representation of our brand than in the store here at our corporate headquarters, or one of our other 2 stores. And then, having that customer come in and be like, oh my, that's different. That's not like what I have when I go to Dr. Smith or, whatever other optical store that you go to. That just felt good. I'm gonna tell my friends about it. So the nice thing about having physical brick and mortar at high traffic locations is you just get a lot of eyes on your storefront. You get a lot of people coming in and just checking it out. And so I think for us, it's going to be a continued investment in digital, Google, Facebook, Instagram, and print. So we still think print is a great way to express our brands, and then retail. But it's the blend of all 3 that really will help us capture and build our awareness, which is our number one challenge right now.
And I love it. And obviously the world is changing rapidly in terms of how people become aware of things. And if before it was mainly through the $1 million Super Bowl ad or multi-million-dollar Super Bowl ad of 20 years ago, today there's obviously different revenue streams. There's different avenues. There's different streams of audiences and where they get their information from the various social platforms.
Absolutely. And I think that, Michael, the one thing I'll say in addition to that is, you got to have believers within your organization too. I mean, if we don't all believe in this product that it'll change people's lives, that truly a great pair of glasses can change your life, you're sunk. And that's why we continue to focus on employee engagement and keeping people as the biggest advocates for the brand that work here as we can. So I think it's this interesting odd combination. Some of the things people never talk about, but you got to have everybody in line with the goals or aligned with the goals and excited about the product and the business. If you don't have that, it's going to be really challenging.
Right. And is it trivial to find people that are excited about your line of businesses? And this is obviously relevant for any D2C brand. Is it something that you intentionally interview for and you intentionally ask, okay, is my team really excited about what I'm doing here, or is this another job for them?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yes, we do. We use a really wonderful personality trait tool called Culture Index. There's a ton of them out there, but we like Culture Index because it really matches any job we have has a profile that we create, and then a person who's a candidate will take this personality profile. It takes 10 or 15 minutes, and they'll line up with that profile. And it's critical that there's and we've proven it over time. Everybody that's joined, many people that have joined us have been like, oh, this sounds like black magic. I don't know. I'm not sure. But the reality of it is it works. It works because it forces you to create a great job description, create a profile, and then it also then helps you where there's gaps and ask questions in an interview to say, okay, well, why it's just showing you as this kind of person. We need this kind of person. Tell me about that. And so yes, we do interview for it. We don't. I would tell you the majority of the people here aren't from the eyewear industry, because we are focusing on disrupting this industry. It's a medical device. We have all of the technical expertise, and we're obviously we're compliant with all of the regulations. But I like bringing people into the organization that bring a different point of view. Maybe they've worked in the outdoor industry, or they've worked in accessory development, or they've worked in retail, housewares maybe. We have people that have very diverse backgrounds, and they bring different things to us. But as long as you have an understanding of who you are as a brand, and you have in our industry, the medical device understanding with technical expertise there, I love this kind of melting pot of people with different backgrounds and different perspectives.
I love it. I love it. And Mike, thank you so much for the time and the energy, and I love the understanding about the complexity of the D2C, but also about the awareness strategy, NPS strategy, and then the differentiation, culminating in building the right culture within the organization. And obviously, 20 minutes is not enough to talk about all about iBob and all the different strategies. But at least I felt like I got a taste about the amazing the amazing process and journey that you're on and that iBob is on, and I definitely learned a lot. So thank you very much, and stay safe and stay healthy.
You too, Michael. Thanks for the time. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.